So, welcome to another episode of the People, Passion, and Purpose podcast. This month, the focus is on bringing stories to the forefront and stories to the limelight. And as soon as we say stories, I think people always come into play. So, there is never a place where stories are there and people are not there. And the whole idea of sharing powerful stories during Women's Month is to encourage more women to share their stories. It's not necessary what is our achievements or it may not be only about achievements. It is about who we are. It's a human being rather than the human doing. So that's the whole intention of bringing women's stories to spotlight this particular month. And it will also continue to happen for the rest of the year. So rest assured, every day is a Women's Day, every day is a Women's this thing. But in this year, in this space, a lot of the eyeballs are around this place. So we just want to make sure that people also listen to stories like Rekha's and all of the other women that have already been part of it. So, Rekha, welcome to the podcast. It's lovely to have you here. And it's interesting how sometimes I find podcast guests. So we met and then were in a networking meeting. We met and then had a wonderful conversation. Yeah, I got to know of so many aspects of your life. How Leo Babulkar is part of your family. So
Thank you for
so many
remembering.
so many interesting parts. How you got into energy and the whole mindset coaching. And I saw on LinkedIn there's something called as Brahma Muhurta coaching, right? So I was
Yes,
like, oh, that's
yes.
fascinating. But we'll get to all of that, and we'll get to also possibly who you are, right? So this is where one of the things that I put people on the spot. So the last podcast also was something like this. So if you were a character in any of the films that you've seen, who would you be and why?
I would be Wonder Woman. Thank you for asking this
Hmm.
question. I mean, I didn't expect this, but I think I have been a Wonder Woman in my life, coming through every challenges and one of my value is challenges. So I discovered it when
Wow.
I discovered it. It's like, oh, any challenge, yes, this is my space. So I think I'm a Wonder Woman character. I would love that to play, and I always imagine that girl and me same.
Wow, 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 very interesting. So, what makes life interesting for you?
It's the experiences, Sunil. I think it's the everyday experiences, because the day does not go as you expected. Every day I do a mind movie as soon as I wake up, and I have a certain plan and everything. But yeah, you might achieve it 60 to 70%. Maybe some days are 100%, but some connections of 40%. Those experiences are all about life. For example, we just had a power fluctuation before we just connected. We were talking about those experiences when we were children. Go get the candle, go get the lamp. Uh, those experiences are life is all about. Talking about those stories to the children. That is all about life.
Wow, absolutely. I think talking about life experiences, that's where life is. So you
Yes.
tell me how did it start for you in terms of your childhood, growing up? What stories do you have to share for us?
I started working at the age of 17, so it could be shocking for people. How am I allowed to work? So when I went for interview, I could not say I'm Rekha. So I am from Kannada medium till 10th standard, and I'm extremely an introvert person. So I could not speak up nicely, but I know the words inside my head. But I'm always shy, not looking into people's eyes, and that was me. And I started working in a French company. And the
Hmm.
advantage, the beauty of it is the French people didn't know English and I didn't know English. So with whatever we know, I know English and they know French English. So we could manage it so beautifully. So I never felt I'm lesser. Universe sends you to the place where you are getting aligned. And there were also very good English talking people. So one day I had this momentum where I had to express myself and I felt extremely low about myself. From that day, I started talking English in my dreams also. So my brother and sister used to say that I would talk in English, like stop that, stop the tap, something like that. Every person who speaks word, I would catch that word and I would frame sentences and I started learning. This is how I learned the language. And I'm so proud to say it. Why do you even fake it, right? To about your past. I think I'm so proud the way I have come forward. I did my graduation in correspondence. I proposed my husband when I was 19 and he said no. He wanted to marry a Konkani girl, and I said, okay, but don't tell anyone I proposed. That cool I was, very calculative. And after 2.5 years, I found a boy, and my mom looked for arranged marriage, and there was a guy to get married. I was 22. That time, my husband got FOMO. That time, my boyfriend. So he just got FOMO. Okay, I'm going to lose out because he knew me in and out, and he didn't want it to miss the person who I am. Then he proposed me. He said, okay, let me come and talk to your parents. So my engagement got stopped. Then we got arranged and we got married. So that is our love story in short. And we have two kids. And I'm born and brought up from Bangalore. I've been married for 19 years now. And in the same company, I worked for 18 years. And at the age of 35, when after my second child, I wanted to do a business and give time to my family. I thought business is very easy and working is difficult. So let me do business so I get my own time, because I was only seeing entrepreneurs getting the time. It's like in Sanskrit, people say Vinasha Kale Viprita Buddhi. So, we jumped into 300 people company straight away, invested everything we have earned for 15 years. Me and my friend, we started, and that I would not call it as a disaster. If that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't be here today doing a podcast with you. So I thank that failure. So that was a huge failure. So I went into a mental trauma because from young age, I was succeeding. My success was that I learned English. People were proud of me to introduce myself. The story of Rekha. So everybody were always talking about proudness about me. And suddenly I saw a business failure. It was like a shock of my life. And 6 months, I didn't wanted to talk to anybody. I didn't wanted to pick up the call. I was in that zone. One day, one of my supplier offered me a job. I started working, but my self-worth was extremely low. And in the meantime, all this profession was going on. From the time I got married, for 15 years, I had continuous fight with my mother-in-law. So I would fight. I would take my two bags, take my two kids. I would go to my mother's house. I would come back after a week. So this was my life pattern. And at one stage, my business flopped. I also moved out of the house. There's so many chaos happened in my life. We moved to a new apartment. I thought my mother-in-law was the reason, but it was me, my own trauma was the reason. I was getting irritated, angry, frustrated for no reason. So that was my journey. Then I got into coaching. Am I going too fast? You can stop me if I'm going too fast. Yeah.
It's interesting. You go.
Yeah,
You
I'll
are a
go with the
coach.
flow. Okay,
You are
just
a
coming
coach.
in.
You go with it.
Thank you. And so I joined a job after the business failure because at home it was only making it worse. Um, when I joined the job, my self worth was too low. I was not, and I joined for 50% of my 3 years old salary, something like that. And I decided that this is not going good, and I started watching a lot of YouTube. How to be a successful person, how to become a billionaire, how to wake up early. This was my most frequent search. How to become a better mom, how to be a good employee, how to be a successful person, how to be at peace, how not to get angry. These were my searches in YouTube, and I would start consuming the videos 20 minutes, 15 minutes before night. I would see it. I would tell myself next day morning I'm going to wake up and I do this, 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 but I was not able to do. That's when I came through in YouTube, whatever you search, you get the ad also. So I got an ad about my coach. That's when I joined for a Brahma Muhurta class. 5 days, I felt a new energy altogether. I felt a feeling of accomplishment. I was thriving for, I was craving for that accomplishment feeling. And I felt like, okay, 5 days I've been waking up at 4:30. This is a great feeling. And immediately they offered a level two, level three. I went on buying course after course after course. And one day I decided I want to become a life coach. So I started waking up at 4 o'clock. From the person waking up at 7, immediately I shifted to 4. It's been 4 years. I've been waking up at 4. All my learning happens in the morning, and I feel the best in the morning energy. And I become an internationally certified coach. I invested more in learning. So here I am for last 3 years. I quit my job. The major breakthrough is when I started coaching myself, like going to coaching. I went to my mother-in-law and I said, "I'm sorry for whatever has happened." I made a deal with her. So in the past, whatever I did is wrong. I know something what you did sounds me wrong. We'll not talk about it. Can we make a deal? So we both agreed, okay, we are not going to make a deal. And my mother-in-law wanted the assurance that I will not do whatever I did it in the past. So I gave her an assurance that we will not talk behind about each other, and we will talk in front if we have a conflict. We are not going to fight. And this has been 4 years, Sunil. We have zero fight. We didn't had
Wow.
a day also to confront. We didn't even have a day to confront because we are very clear on our terms. I didn't do any work with her. I went and asked for sorry. I fell on her feet. I said, please forgive me if I have done anything wrong, knowingly, unknowingly. Maybe I was going through a lot of things. But from now, I want to start a new beginning because you are my first member of the family. And my husband is not happy because you're not with me. So my kids are not happy because his father is not happy. So I don't want my family to be inside, inside, inside. Everybody needs an emotional healing. So you rather come home so everybody can live peacefully. That's a deal. I did a transparent deal, and it's been 4 years. Touch wood, we have an amazing relationship. She's the backbone of the house. She's so much proud of me, and she motivates me, and she's been a high energy spirit behind me. I think when you forgive and ask for forgiveness, the whole life changes. This is my learning from my life. And, I'm able to achieve whatever I'm achieving today only because of her support, because I know back end she's taking care of everything for me. And she does it happily now rather before cribbing, complaining about it. So that's the major shift. That's number one shift. Number two, my boss gave me 100% hike and he said, "You're very intelligent. I don't want to leave you." And I was thinking that I'm not good at it. My self-worth increased, and that's a bigger shift what I had. Then I got to know about my purpose. And I think all the failure, whatever I faced, it was all meant to happen for me to be a person who I am today. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here today. So, and every client I meet, Sunil, this is so surprising for me. They have one or the other piece of my story in them. And they connect to my story so much, and they come to me because of that transformation, what I have done, and they want the transformation. So far, I've worked with 2,000 people on a one-to-one level, and I have about 750 queens in our community. We call them as queens. It's a women community, what we are building. And I strongly believe, just like me, if one woman in the house has become a queen, the entire house becomes a soulful family. Our kids, we have a
Absolutely.
beautiful space. So this is my mission to impact 1 million families, affecting the women to become a soulful queen. That's the mission. And they have that power in them. It's just that they need a space. And that's the space I'm holding on to.
Wow. That's interesting. So Wonder Women, no wonder you have that aura, that energy, that space. And I didn't want to interrupt your story because I think it was flowing so beautifully. Well, one thing that I always ask people is, in summary, when we are reliving that story, it feels like, oh, I've done it in two sentences. But in reality, when we are going through something like it, it's not easy.
Yes.
Right. So, how was that experience? Going through such a turbulent and tumultuous time.
See, many times I wanted to give up. So the final fight I had with my husband, I wanted to end my marriage. So every time I come to a conclusion, okay, let's end it. Let me quit the job. Let me quit the business. So many times I wanted to quit. And the one person who was behind me was my husband. He did not quit on me. So he would come convince me and he would make things work. And I think that was a strength. So we will always have somebody who's going to trust us, but we don't know if that person is investing that trust in us. Actually, we don't realize. But I would say everyone whoever is watching, if you're going through a difficult time, you definitely have that one person who's trusting that it is possible to come out. Just hold on to that person's shoulder, slowly come out, because at the end of the tunnel there is light. Whatever we are going through, it is to become that diamond version. That's what I believe. If you have a challenge, now I feel that. But in the past, whenever I had this turbulence, I had my windows. I call it as windows: an emotional support window, a mother in law support window, a career support window, or self worth calculation window, or I had a mentor to help me with the career. So, have those windows. That was my strength. I would talk to people. I would tell people on a one-to-one level, this is what I'm going through. Can you help me? Tell me what should I do? I would not hesitate because I don't want to be stuck. So whatever the
Mhm.
turbulent situation, I think it's very, very important to feel it and express it and ask for help. Ask, it shall be given.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ask and you shall receive, right? So,
Yes,
and again, I think
yes,
a lot of us face, me included, the trouble of asking help. So we've
yes,
been programmed like that, saying, hey, asking for help is a sign of weakness, and that puts us in the same place again and again. Those loops, all those things come into play, and
yes.
things will get there. So, but it's a very, very fascinatingly inspiring story. Thanks, Rekha. Thanks for sharing. Uh, and also, I think even prior to our conversation, I think I don't know. I didn't know the intensity of such a this discussion. I only knew that you went into you returned back to office or the work that you were previously doing at a very low
Yeah.
salary, and then things started shifted. Then you went into coaching. So fascinating. So if you were to describe yourself in possibly 5 words, what would those be?
Myself, um, I'm a quick decision maker. So I would get inspired with everything, Sunil. I don't know it's a good thing or a bad thing. Many times my husband will say, you will trust everyone. You will get inspired with everything. I will do wow for everything. So I feel this is good because I really feel that this is wow, right? Everybody has a unique story. Everybody has a different thing. And I'm curious to learn. So the curiosity keeps me going. And the way I handle my fear, that's my third capacity. So fear is something, it's my base value. So I'm an enthusiast. So I have this fear of missing out all the time. And for anything, my first emotion is always fear. I would come with a fear inside my head. And for recently, for 1 year, thanks to Mel Robbins and her technique taught me this. Your fear and your excitement is same in your body. When you feel excited, what you feel is the same feeling what you feel when you get fear. For example, when we go on a stage, you feel like you're having a butterfly in your stomach, but actually it's not a fear, it's an excitement. So you might be thinking, what will happen next month for this one or that one? But actually, this is an excitement what you're looking forward to next month. So I learned to convert my fear into an excitement. I sit with the fear and I ask, what is this fear teaching? So this is my new self. Earlier, I would get panicked. I would reach out to my windows. Now I don't reach out to my windows. I sit with my fear. I think that's been a huge strength for last 1 year. What I have learned, and I teach my client also to handle their fear because most of the people go through the fear. What if
Mm.
is a bigger thing, right? What if
Oh,
this
yeah, yeah.
happens? And on the loop, whatever you said about the loop of overthinking, that starts with what if. So what if this is an exciting opportunity? Like the podcast, I was just thinking I'm not ready. There's a podcast, I cannot take time from him, I'm already late. So many things were running. What if this is an exciting podcast and I'm just good at whatever I am? This is just, I pivoted my thought and I'm just here. I was just cleaning a study table and rushed to this meeting here, and I think it's just going so good. I
It's
just
just
feel,
going, yeah, it's just
yeah.
going. True, true, true. And to also reiterate that I think even I do drop in podcasts because the whole idea is you already are your own subject matter expert, right? So all I have to do is ask the right question to the right place, and you will bring up those stories that are relevant, and authenticity is what everybody is right now seeking in an age where everything the information is available on
Yes.
ChatGPT, Meta, whatever you ask. It's the human experiences that are missing, and that is where podcasts like this come in, and it's a space where two of us are just being who we are. There's no
Yes.
need to be anything else, no need to be anybody else. So, and something that's been drawing me for quite some time is, yeah, the background. I see a lot of books, right? So, is that your book collection, or is it somebody else? If it's yours, then which is your favorite?
Okay, this is mine. So one of my childhood thing is that I always wanted to study. The biggest desire is I wanted to sit in the balcony and have a tea and read the book. And I could not do it being a corporate employee. I have the big desires, but this was one of the desire. And recently when I did it, I felt so good. So, and I do buy a lot of book and I love reading. Right now I'm reading the Silva Mind Control Method.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something what I did in the morning about how to heal yourself with your own mind, how you can train your mind to heal your body. So this is what I was teaching my students. So I went through that, and recently I'm working on another book of Russell. This Russell book. It's all about expert study about marketing. So that is something what I love, and I do a lot of mind coaching related book. I want to know more in depth of this book. So everything what I learn, and I immediately go to the classroom and start teaching. So my students love it because every class is a different, because every book is bringing a different thing. Letting Go is a wonderful book. I read about Letting Go is a very nice book. And Happy Money is my favorite book. How the author talks about happy money, that's a very nice book. Yeah, and I would share it with you. And now I am reading another book, The Big Leap. It just started yesterday. I want to just become thorough with that book, Big Leap, and it's about fish jumping from a small vase to a big vase. How you can take that big leap. So the author
Leap in
is
life.
talking about genius, your genius version. And as you were talking about authenticity, so it is with the authenticity. You can only become a genius when you are authentic.
Absolutely true.
That is what the version says. From an excellence version to genius version, there is not much difference. So I feel myself I'm in an excellence version now, and I want to jump to the genius version. So the author was talking about Michael Dell, how Michael Dell went from the small pond to the big pond, and how his authenticity is shifted. And my husband works for Dell for last 18 years. So I was talking to him in the morning about Michael Dell, and he was saying, from the day they joined for the work, he said, it's your family life balance. So the way they give the facilities, work from home, they take care of the emotional health and all that thing they take in Dell company. It's all very authentic, very employee oriented, and there's so much of ethic they follow with the system and all of that. That is a success of Michael Dell. So it's your purpose and your authenticity which leads you to the genius version. So this is what I'm working on, to go deeper and become the genius version. That's the goal for 2025.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So I think that's an interesting, space in terms of values, in terms of how our values become our this thing. And you also, you said you proposed to your husband at 90 and you married for 19 years. Uh, how did you know that he was the person that you should propose to?
Okay. So this could be a very childish thing because I was only 19, right? So those days I would love Madhavan. So Madhavan, this movie released also in Tamil. It is Minnale. I think it's Rehna Hai Tere Din Mein in Hindi. So that was a movie, and we had SS music. So I would there was so much of song coming in the morning, and I would keep singing. My husband looks exactly like Madhavan. Okay, he exactly looks like Madhavan. I would share his picture. Yeah, it's here. Okay, so see. Okay, so his date of birth is 2nd June and Madhavan is 1st June. And
Okay.
see, this is how manifestation works. I'm a law of attraction coach. I truly believe it because when you're younger, you have no doubt, is it possible or not? Because your influence is movie. And in movie, you see people are getting whatever they wish to. Suddenly something happens and they get everything. So at that age, I had no doubt, is it possible or not to get it? And one more thing is, I'm also a very religious person. Even I'm spiritual and the religious person. So there was this auntie who was going near my school in 9 yard sari every day. She would go to temple in my school time. So I would look at that auntie every day with a basket of flowers. She would go to temple religiously. And I used to tell my friends, I'm okay if I have to wear sari after my marriage and I want to marry to a Brahmin and wear 9 yard sari like that. We are non-Brahmin and I would love that style. So I'm a Tamilian and that auntie was a Tamil style Madisar, we call it as. So she was wearing a nice Madisar. I would admire her when I was in 8th standard. From 8th standard itself, I would started admiring that Madisar so much. Then Kamlasan Chachi 420 came. Then I watched that movie so many times just to see how he was wearing that Madisar, that 9 yard sari. These are all small details. We give a signal to universe that this is what I'm looking for. So I gave the signal to universe that this is what I'm looking for. But when I proposed Ashwin, I didn't know he's a Brahmin. I proposed him because I also had a condition that I will propose a guy. This guy should not be proposing the girl or not chasing the girl. So he was a most wanted boy in the college, and he would never look at the girl. He had no girlfriends, and whoever proposes, he would say no. And he was like that, very polite. And 2 3 times I went in kinetic. So we were a gang of 10 people. So whenever I sat behind him, he made sure that there was a distance between both of us. And even the hump, he would go very slow. We were just friends at that time. he would take care. He was 24 and I was 19, and no crank, no all this flirting and all this stuff, and he was so respectful towards the women and all. So that was very attractive. So then I proposed. I know this guy is not going to propose, and let me give it a try. So that was my first proposal and the last proposal. And he bluntly said, we are Konkanis and I'm only one son, and my mom is expecting a Konkani daughter-in-law, and I cannot disappoint her. And he said no. I said, okay, don't tell anyone. It's a deal, because people will mistake that you rejected my proposal. And I'm very cool and calculative, so I will not let it I did not go into depression. I did not cry, nothing. I said, okay, please don't tell anyone. And it was over. For 2.5 years, we were very good friends. So he came to know about me in and out, all that what I was doing. I was working, helping my family. I was not, like other girls doing the shopping or anything. I'm not saying that's bad. My family situation made me do multiple work. I was also doing tuitions for younger students. I was doing a day job. Then I was also studying, and the promotions what I was receiving and the respect what I had in my company, all that I was sharing with him. So I think people need to know you to accept your proposal. The 2.5 years of friendship made that FOMO for him. Okay, I'm going to miss a good friend for my life. That made him to make that decision. He left all his root reasons, and then he said, no, I really want you. And he came home. He was extremely scared how my mom is going to accept him and all of that. And I was also scared because in my family there was no intercaste marriage at all. And my mom literally locked me in the room for 1 month, saying, no, this is not possible, it's impossible, and all of that. And the minute my father saw him, and he said, I think we cannot find a boy like him, so honest, coming home and asking for a girl and all of this. So we will go with him. And they agreed, and my in-laws agreed. Then we got arranged marriage. I mean, it's destined to be.
You say it's arranged marriage.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, then both of them agreed. So we had a clear
Yeah.
deal that we will not run away, we will not do all this thing, because he was very conscious about his family. Even me, I'm being an elder daughter. I'm also responsible girl, earning for the family, taking care. Me setting that example wouldn't be good for my sister or brother. So I would want to be a role model for people around me. So I was very clear. I'm not going to do the marriage without the approval. But our persistence or our trust in people, I think it just happened. Just it was not that difficult. When I go back now, I think you have to just hold on to your belief. No doubt. That helped me. Now at this age, we get a lot of doubts. Your slate is filled with what if and doubts. But very young age, you don't have much doubt. So you have to just become a clean slate. That's it. So you will start believing
Yeah.
this is possible, that is possible, like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I think we should have movies like, Rehna Hai Tere Dil Mein remade, remade into
Yes.
our versions of life.
Yes, 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 yes.
And
Even Swami too, for that matter, right? Sorry, I'm bringing the
mm,
movie. The Swami, what is that movie recently came? Um, this guy Allu Arjun movie. Um,
I am horrible
you're
with
very
movies,
bad
so
at movie. So this
very,
guy
very bad.
he's doing a ripple effect in the fight. Okay, it's looks very funny in the fight, but the ultimate goal is whatever he set his mind, he can do it. That's what the
Mm.
movie says. So for me, it was like action, which is also thinking like it is not possible, but whatever he is setting his mind, he's doing it. So it's possible. So I think we should watch a lot of movies where things are possible.
That's an interesting way to look at it. But yeah, I think you brought movies. You brought also growing up in 90s, right? So early
Yeah.
90s.
Yes.
But you also said you studied in Kannada medium, which is the perfect switch to do also like a Kanglish podcast. ಸೊ
Yes.
ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ಮಗುವಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ಬೆಳೆಯೋ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ? ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಪಾಡ್ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಈ ಪವರ್ ಕಟ್ ಇಂದ ಶುರು ಆಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ಇನ್ ಅರ್ಲಿ 90s, ಲೇಟ್ 90s?
ಅರ್ಲಿ 90s ನನ್ಗೆ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಬರೋದಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಬಾಂಬೆ ಮೂವಿ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪೆಂಡ್ ದ ಮುಂಬೈ ದೋಸ್ maybe it's a bitter memory, but it's that Kannada Tamil fight was going on. ಆ memory ನಂಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So ನಮ್ಮ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ people were saving us. We are Tamilians. They were saying, no, no, they are also Kannadigas. There was this big problem happened. You remember that in 90s, in the beginning of 90s, that Kaveri
ನಾವಾಗಿನ್ನು
water.
ತುಂಬಾ ಸಣ್ಣವನು.
Kaveri water problem happened. Suddenly in Bangalore, people were looking for Tamilians to send them out, and it ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ನಮ್ ನೇಬರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಹಾಲ್ ತರಕ್ ಹೋಗೋದು, ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಒನ್ ರಿಚುವಲ್. ಗೋ ಟು ನಂದಿನಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಆ ಕಾಯಿನ್ ಹಾಕಿ, ಕಾಯಿನ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಮಿಲ್ಕ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಹಾಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬರೋದು ಆ ಕ್ಯೂ ನಲ್ಲಿ. ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಫನ್, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಒಂದೊಂದು ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಒಬ್ರು ಹೋಗಿ ಕೊಳಾಯಿಂದ ನೀರ್ ತರ್ಬೇಕು, ನೀರ್ ತುಂಬಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಅಂಡ್ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮಂಗೆ ಇವಾಗ್ಲೂ 1 ಕೋಟಿವರೆಗೂ ನಂಬರ್ನ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಬಾಯಲ್ಲೇ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್, ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಅವ್ರು ಬರೀ 10ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಓದಿರೋದು. ಸೊ ನನ್ಗೂನು ಹಾಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ಸ್ ಬೇಗ ಬೇಗ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡತ್ತೆ. ಏನಾದ್ರು ನಂಬರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಬೇಗ ಬೇಗ ಹೇಳತ್ರ. ನಾಟ್ ಸೂಪರ್ ಗುಡ್, ಬಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಓಕೆ. ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೀಡ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನನ್ ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತೀನಿ, ನೋಡು, ನಾನು ಅಂಗಡಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ವಯಸ್ಸಲ್ಲೇ, ನಂಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಚಿಲ್ಲರೆ ತರೋದು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ ನಂಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ಸ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಮಕ್ಳನ್ನ ಕಳ್ಸೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬರೀ ಝೆಪ್ಟೋ ಇದನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆ ರಿಯಲ್ ಮನಿನ ಯೂಸೇ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಜಿಪೇ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಐ ಗಿವ್ ರಿಯಲ್ ಮನಿ ಟು ಮೈ ಕಿಡ್ಸ್. ಐ ಸೇ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಗೋ ಗೆಟ್ ಅ ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್, ಅವ್ರ ಮೆಟ್ರೋದಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಪಾಕೆಟ್ ಮನಿ ನಾನು ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ನ್ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಬರಿಬೇಕು. ಆತರ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದೇ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಕೂಡ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ, ಹೇಗೆ ನಾವು ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಹೇಗ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಎಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಬುಕ್, ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್, ಓಕೆ 1000 ರೂಪೀಸ್ ಬಂತು, 30 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಮೆಟ್ರೋಗಾಯ್ತು, 20 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇದಾಯ್ತು, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ತಂದ್ರೇನೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮಂತ್ ಕೊಡೋದು ಆತರ. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ವಯಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಲಿಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಅದ್ 1 ಲೀಟರ್ ಹಾಲ್ನ ಅರ್ಧ ಲೀಟರ್ ತಂದಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಮುಚ್ಚಿಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನ ಟಿವಿ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡೋದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವಾಗ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಸ್ವೀಟ್ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಬೋಟಿ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಆತರ ಎಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಡ್ ನಾನ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಲಗೋರಿ ಆಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ಚಿಕ್ಕವಳಿದ್ದಾಗ. ಸೊ ನಮ್ ರೋಡಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹುಡುಗಿರೇ ಇರ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಡ್ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮ ಕೆಲ್ಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಬೇರೆ ಹುಡುಗಿರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಆಚೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆಚೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೋಡಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಆಟ ಆಡ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮ ಕೆಲ್ಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ರಲ್ವಾ, ಸೊ ಲಗೋರಿನೇ ಫುಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಲಗೋರಿ ಆಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ. ನಂಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅದು ಗೇಮ್. ಇವಾಗ ಯಾರು ಲಗೋರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಲಗೋರಿ ಗೇಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಗಾನ್. ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಲಗೋರಿ ಆಟ ಆಡೋದು.
ಲಗೋರಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ ಈಗೆಲ್ಲ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನಾವು, ನನ್ ತಂಗಿ ಸೊ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಅರ್ಲಿ 2000 ಮೇಲೆ 2005 2004 ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದವ್ರಿಗಂತೂ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಆಫ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ವಾಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ ದ PS5 ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಗೇಮ್ ಆ ತರನೇ. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸಮ್ಮರ್ ಹಾಲಿಡೇಸ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಮನೇಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಮನೆಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ರಾತ್ರಿ 8 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ನೆನ್ನೆ ಅಮ್ಮ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ನಾನು ಅಮ್ಮ ರಾತ್ರಿ ವಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ, ನೀವ್ ಯಾಕೆ ರಾತ್ರಿ ಈಗ ಆಟ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ರಾತ್ರಿ ನಾಯಿಗಳ ಅಟ್ಟಿಸ್ಕೊಂಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ ಹೊರತು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ದೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ನೋ ಕಂಪಲ್ಷನ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಪಾಡಿಗೆ ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗೋಗೋದು. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನನ್ 4 6 ನಾನು ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೆ, ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ 10 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡೋದು, ಆಟ ಆಡ್ಕೊಟ್ರು, ಊಟ ಮಾಡು, ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಮುಗಿಸು, ಔಟ್.
ಯಾ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಪವರ್ ಕಟ್ ಹೋದಾಗ ನಾವು ಚಾಪೆ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ನಾವ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿ ವುಡ್ ಸಿ ದ ಸ್ಕೈ. ಅವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇರ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಈ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಇದು ಆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಇದು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ದಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್. ನಾವು ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಹೋಗ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಹಾಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ ಲೇಔಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ನಾವು. ಸೊ ಗಾಡಿನೇ ಹೋಗುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ ಕಾರ್ನರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ ಗಾಡಿ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು ರೋಡಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ರೋಡಲ್ಲೇ ಚಾಪೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಆಕಾಶ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ನೈಸ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಅ ಬಿಗ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಗೇಮರ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ. ನನ್ನ ಏಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ, ನಾನು 8th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ 9th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ದಟ್ ಕೀಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾಸೆಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಗೇಮ್ ಆಡೋದು. ಸೊ ನಾನು 5 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಎದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಗೇಮ್ ಆಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ. 7 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಎದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ತಂಗಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಕಿತ್ಕೊಂತಾರೆ ಅಂತ 5 o'clockಗೆ ಎದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಗೇಮ್ ಆಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಳು ಗೇಮ್ ಆಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾನು ಅವಾಗಿಂದ ಗೇಮ್ ಆಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಲೋಡ್ ರನ್ನರ್ಸ್ ವಾಸ್ ಮೈ ಫೇವ್ರೆಟ್. ಲೋಡ್ ರನ್ನರ್ಸ್, ಮಾರಿಯೋ ಅಂಡ್ ಲೋಡ್ ರನ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಐ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಪ್ಲೇ ನೈಸ್ಲಿ. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಇಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಫನ್.
ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಮಾರಿಯೋ ಇಸ್ ಫನ್. ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟ್ ಸತಿ ಗೇಮ್ ಓವರ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಆಯ್ತು, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಆಟ ಆಡೋದು, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ರೀಸೆಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ಅಂತ. ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಫನ್. ಬಟ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಅವಾಗ ಆಚೆ ಆಟ ಆಡಕ್ಕೂ ಜನ ಇರೋರು, ಜಾಗನೂ ಇರೋರು. ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ದೇರ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಆ ಬಯಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ ಪಾಪ. ಎಲ್ಲರ ಹತ್ರ ಬಯಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ನಿಮ್ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಆಟ ಆಡ್ತೀರಾ, ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬಿಡಲ್ಲ, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಹೊಡಿತೀರಾ, ಅದಾಗತ್ತೆ ಇದಾಗತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಕೊಂಕಣಿ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಮನೆ ಪಕ್ಕದ ಮನೆಯವರು, ನಮ್ಮನೆ ಕನ್ನಡಿ ನೋಡು, ಕನ್ನಡಿ ಹೊಡಿತೀರಿ ನೀವು, ಕನ್ನಡಿ ಹೊಡಿತೀರಾ. ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಸರ್, ಅದ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ ಮುಖ ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಕನ್ನಡಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಅಂತ.
ಓಕೆ. ಮಂಗ್ಳೂರ್
ಅದು
ಕನ್ನಡ
ಅವ್ರ
ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
ಮನೆಗ್ ಬಾಲ್ ಹೋದಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅದು, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನಾವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸರ್ಜಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕ್ ನಾವು ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದ.
ಓಕೆ.
ಬಾಲ್ ಎಳ್ದ್ರೆ ಮನೆಗ್ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ದಿರ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದು, ವಾಪಸ್ ಬಾಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಆಚೆ ಬರೋದು ಅಂತ. So it was such a very interesting experience at that point.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
Hmm. So ನೀವು
I
ಇದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ, so you brought all of these very interesting memories. So if you had to tell something to your, say, 10-year-old version, so what would you share? ಯಾವ ಕತೆ ಈಗ the adult version of Rekha would, what story would you share to the younger version?
younger version. So I was very shy and introvert. I want to tell the younger version, just don't be and just live every second. But I think I lived the every second. I would tell my younger version, don't worry, everything is figured outable. Everything is figured outable, and you can do whatever you set your mind to. There was a lot of worry at that time with the family situation, but the younger self forgets, and you still do the play. And I want to tell my younger version that I'm here, and I'm taking care of everything, and don't worry. Just live your life to the fullest. Eat nicely, sleep nicely, play nicely. Life is to live, so just enjoy every moment of your life. That's what I want to tell her.
Absolutely. I think fantastic ಕಥೆ ಇದು. And I think one thing that's been constant, I think, across the session is your energy to, the passion that you bring to your voice, the energy that you bring to your voice. How did that happen? I know, you got out of this. So you made quite a lot of deals, with your husband, then with your mother-in-law. So what was the deal between you and energy coaching?
So what happened is, as I said, I get influenced by everyone. And especially when somebody is achieving, somebody is that expansive, right? I get fascinated about it. Oh, ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಇವ್ರು? ಹೇಗೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ? ಏನ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? So you would have heard my story of learning English also. I also know to write Tamil. I started learning from watching Sun TV. So Sun TV ನಲ್ಲಿ English but the Tamil ಬರ್ತಿತ್ತು. Then I started writing that, and I also learned how to read it. So anything new is always fascinating. And I started looking at people, and this was something very attractive. The energy was really attractive. ಹೇಗ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೇಗ್ ಅವ್ರು ಫುಲ್ ಡೇ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, how are they so positive, how are they expansive. Some people, you go near them, their aura is so big, they are so expansive, you want them to just look at you. So I was rather feeling small. I would be very curious. How are they doing it? So like that, I started learning all of it, and I also experienced energy is everything, Sunil. So the more you are energetic, you get it, whatever you want to get it. The minute you are low on your energy, you don't get it. And I was watching this video of Mahatria. I want to give the credit to him for this learning yesterday morning. So he was saying, if you're not successful, how are you matter in this world? This is for all the people who are feeling victim. Nange idrinda ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, adrinda ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, adu block ide, idu block ide. People are thinking and they are on a low energy. If you are successful, are you even a matter in the world? That's what he was asking. If you are successful, people want to talk to you. So you rather be successful, right? Why you want to put yourself backbench? It's possible to do. See, there are so many people who are handicapped or who are physically challenged or who have difficulty in learning. They have come forward, they have achieved everything because they realized I have to be successful to be seen in this world. It's important to love yourself, and you can only love yourself when you are growing every. Your failure is also part of your success. I'm not saying you should not fail. You fail, but you try to attempt something, then only you fail, right? Rather being in the comfort zone, try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, get succeed. That's it. But rather not trying and being in the comfort zone, that makes you like a laid back person. Then your energy goes down because the story, ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಿ ತಲೆನಲ್ಲಿ, ನಂಗಿದ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ನಾನು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ 5 ಗಂಟೆಗೆಲ್ಲ ಎದ್ದೇಳ ಸೀನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಂಗೆ ಸಾಕು 6 ಗಂಟೆ ಎದ್ದಿರ್ತೀನಿ, and I'm doing. See, there are so many people, they get into their comfort zone. Good, you're in your comfort zone, but are you happy with yourself inside? Go deep down. Are you really happy? That's the question you have to ask yourself. No, you may not be happy. You might be, one ಚಿಕ್ಕ success ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು, ಹೇಗ್ ಸಿಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಿರುತ್ತೆ. So every day success gives you that bigger success. So I have a journal where I write 3 accomplishments. Even if I don't do any work, I'll look for, okay, idon kelsa madidini, on study table clean madidini, I'll write it. Because every day what you finish, that gives you a joy and sense of an accomplishment that makes you feel a better person. So
Correct.
that gives you the energy. So that is what I learned, that you have to be successful in your life. And to be successful, you have to fail. It's okay to fail. Accept your failure because that's your version and just keep going, keep going, keep going. See, I'm an extremely introvert person. I think you will not believe me now if I'm saying that I'm an extremely introvert person. So it takes a lot of time for me to open up. But once I'm it's so important for me to successful. So it pushes me to open up. It pushes me to see a better version. And my version of energy, can I take another 2 minutes? I think I've taken a lot of time. So
Sure,
my
sure.
version of having a high energy, I went detailed and I analyzed what gives you energy. How can you be in high energy, or how can you be an energy coach? So Buddha, 2,500 years ago, he settled the rules. This is how the energy works. One is, when you see some people, you see suddenly your BP shoots up. You get extremely irritated, extremely angry. You don't want to look at that person. Even if there is a stranger, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅವ್ರು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಲ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. You don't want to talk to that person. You will just walk off from that person. Some strangers, ನೀವು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಯಾರು ಇವರು? They just look at your eyes. They want to know your introduction, something like that. They want to come near you and they want to know about you. So it's your aura, it's your energy which is making you the person who you are. So how do you make that energy so big? So Buddha says, Buddham Sharanam Gachami. So he says, have a guru with you. A guru tells you what you have to follow in your life. When you have a guru with you, your energy is good. So tell me, when you have a guru, you're authentic, you're doing actions, you are in positive mode, you're not in a negative mode, you have the guidance, and you have a feeling of surrendering. Your energy already comes to, at above a higher level, and you're able to be in positive mode. Then Buddha says, is Guru possible to be with you all the time? Is it possible you can have your Guru all the time? It's not possible because Guru's mission is bigger. So he says, Dhammam Sharanam Gachami. So that is, have Guru's teaching with you. The teacher's teachings are always with you. So whatever we learn, you have to embody it. So the minute you learn, implement it and embody it. Okay, you have learned that waking up early gives you that energy, embody it. You have learned that if I lie, money does not come to me. So embody it. So everything you learn, the teachings, just keep the teachings of the guru with you because the guru cannot be with you. So that's the second way you can be in higher energy. And now third, sometime when you face a failure, I say that you try and fail, it's okay. But when you face the failure, will you remember your guru or your guru's teaching? May not be.
Mm.
May not be. You might be feeling extremely low. And now ದೇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೈತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ದೇವ್ರೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಜಗತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ. ದೇವ್ರು ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ನಂಗೆ ಈ ತರ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಅದು ತುಂಬಾ ಸರಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ ದೇವ್ರಿಗೆ. ದೇವ್ರೇ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ತರ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ತುಂಬಾ ನನ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರು ಅಂತ. We will be scolding everything around us. ನನ್ಗೆ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ನಾನೇನ್ ಪಾಪ ಮಾಡ್ದೆ? ನನ್ಗೆ ಹೀಗಾಯ್ತು. We get into victim mode. We will forget the teachings. ತಕ್ಷಣ ಮರ್ತೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ನಾವೇನೇನ್ ಕಲ್ತಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತ. When we get a extreme, it's like a shock, right? Your failure is a shock and you forget it. And then he says, Sangam Sharanam Gachami. Have people around you who are giving you that energy. Even if you have 2 good friends, that's more than enough to uplift your energy when you're at your lowest point. So it's very important. You are an average of 5 people. That is absolutely true. So who are these 5 people? Are they uplifting you? And if you have those 5 people, then your energy is there. That's the main reason I'm in BNI, because you are with the entrepreneurs and people who are not giving up, people who are struggling, but people who want to grow, people who are hungry for growth. So when you are with those kind of people, you will not feel demotivated to do a business. You will be motivated. Okay, Ivat Marana, next week after, the next week after, next week after. So that's why it's important to have your Sangam. So you are what your environment is. So fill the people with positivity, growth mindset, people who are hungry for success, then you are automatically pushed for success. That's it. You don't need too many things. Just follow the 3 things. That's the secret of energy. And I think everybody needs the energy in their life to grow. That's why I've named myself as an energy coach. My job is to fill that energy so they are, going up. in their journey.
Dharmam and Sangham.
Yes.
Wow, interesting. Very, very interesting. So, Rekha, is there something you want to ask me? I think this is one of those twist in the tail kind of a podcast. So I've been
Yeah.
trying to experiment with that.
Okay. So, what is your purpose, Sunil? Have you discovered your purpose? Purpose? Why your podcast
Yeah.
says purpose channel? So, what's the
Yes.
purpose? What is that you want to achieve at the end?
Yeah. I think achievement is possibly to have people be themselves. Be themselves uh, in the easiest way possible, not to do anything else, and be who they are. I think that's a very one of the threads of purpose. The other is to basically, I think, build an empire of empathy, right? So you possibly never put empire and empathy at the same sentence, and to leave the world a kinder place. So all of these are purposes, and I think also to make people believe that poetry is not to be something that is only for those that are elite. It is everybody's this thing. So there are different phases for different purposes. I think if there has to be one singular one, is basically to create a kinder place, to leave the world a lot more kinder than whatever it is right now.
From where this is coming from? The root. Uh, what was the root? See, like why I want people to become a queen. So, why you want the world to be like that? What is your why?
I think why is to answer the first point in terms of the thread, right? So it is mostly about um, a lot of us find it incredibly tough to say, okay, some of these externally put um, guidelines or bars to say, unless I am good only when I do this. But I think the very fact that we have been born with whatever that we're born with, the intelligence, the experience, the people, etc., that means we've already, done a lot that puts us at a winner stage. I don't need to do anything to be anything else, but I need to be. So that's one. And I think the more kinder we are, it's also another space where I don't need another layer to who I am. So I am who I am, and that's enough. So I don't need other layers, external validations to make me any richer or any poorer. I am already at my best, and maybe
I
over the period of time, the way we program ourselves becomes that we put ourselves through so much of stress, so much of pressure that it is not needed. And at the end of the day, it's all about kindness, all about love. And nature is something that keeps on giving rather than keeps on taking. So like in BNI also we say we give and gains will come.
understand.
So it's around those purposes, and yeah, I think there are multiple threads to that space. And at the end of the day, your energy, you have a purpose to come here, and sometimes you take a long time to figure out, oh, is this my purpose or that is that my purpose? Take something, make it yours, and just be with it. That's as simple as this.
But yeah, I'm going to dig deeper because see, whatever you have achieved is a very profound version, right? Like somebody who's experienced the entire life and they come to know at the end saying whatever I am now, it's good. Like I don't want any validation or things like that. How did you get that version to yourself? Why this thought came that this is so important for you? Was there a
Where did
situation
that?
which made you that this is the important thing you have to work on, something like that?
I think I saw people as people, right? So possibly after I had a fantastic ranking in my common entrance exam in Karnataka. I was in the top 700 for Karnataka in the year that I passed out. And possibly, if I'm looking at an achievement level of validation, another next year somebody else is going to be ranked 670. Previously, there was somebody else at 670, and every year that number keeps on changing. So my achievement for me could be important, but that's not the end of the road. And I am much more than an achievement, right? For example, say an ant, elephant, every other aspect of being has its own importance. It does not go to LKG, it does not do anything, it does not become the CEO of some multinational company. It still has its own existence. So there must be something bigger than achievement. So it's in that kind of a role. And before you take over as the coach, I would like to say this is a podcast.
Yes, yes, yes.
This is a podcast that such a but very interesting questions you've also given the audience as to how an energy and a mindset coach also starts working. Uh, so I think it's been such a beautiful time to just catch up with you, run it. Both of us dropped in on the podcast. I didn't send you any questions. You also just jumped in, and I think the energy of this podcast speaks for itself. If you had to share an image, sorry, share a message to all those that are listening in, what would that be?
I would say your environment is bigger than your willpower. So whatever you put your willpower every day, it's not going to be consistent until your environment is not ready for it. So declutter your physical place, declutter your mental space, declutter people around you, and arrange or simplify things, simplify your relationships, simplify your mental health. That's the mantra. That's what I want to tell everyone. Declutter.
So one of my friends has written a book. So she's a decluttering expert. So you should meet her sometime.
Yeah, I would love to.
Interesting, interesting. So Rekha, thanks for your time today. I think it's been fun. It's been fantastic. The energy absolutely has been amazing across the session. And yeah, I think even beyond the sessions as well, whenever we get to meet in Vienna and outside of Vienna, it's been fun. So thank you for your time today. And
Thank you.
also for that wonderful question as well. What's my purpose? So, thanks for that question. And I'm definitely hopeful that people will reach out to you saying, "Hey, Rekha, I'd like to know more about you," because the aura, pulls people, and most of the times, that's what works for us. And again, thanks for telling your story. Very authentic, very very beautifully shared, and you know, absolutely sure that people will be inspired by this.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, Sunil. Thanks for helping me reach out to
Thanks,
more
Rekha.
people.
Thank you then.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you. Thank you. See you later.